What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and today we got to talk about this Angel Reese Caitlin Clark matchup again, and Austin Rivers is now weighing in on it. Austin Rivers has had a lot to say about a lot of topics here lately. He spoke about the NFL and NBA, and that's the big topic he was talking lately. But I've noticed, Austin Rivers has been on Pat McAfee's podcast, and he's doing a decent job over there. He's perfect fit over there for them. He's doing a great job, doing a good job when he's on ESPN. Um, the latest thing he's chimed in on is the Angel Reese, uh, Caitlin Clark, and Kamilla Cardosa. Some of the things they had to say about how their games are sold out without Caitlin, but it's almost like people don't want to give her the credit for getting the eyes on the game. They want to make it a black white thing, and why is this white girl bringing all these looks? But at the end of the day, it's her style of play. Some of the things her and Angel Reese went through magnified it even more, really put Angel Reese on the map to be seen. But people were already looking at Caitlin Clark's style of play in college before the Angel Reese thing, but it catapulted her too. It catapulted them both into a new stratosphere and really has uplifted the women's game. Now, I like that they're being physical with the rookies, but again, I spoke on the play where they pulled Angel Reese down, the play uh, today where Caitlin Clark was hip checked, but I mean, a lot of the plays, right? I want them to be very physical with her on the court. That's just a part of the game. You can't turn that off, and you're trying to get a competitive advantage to win. What I don't want to see is like these vets and other young players, people that don't have the deals that they have. I don't want them undercutting these players intentionally and taking them out the game, because with them not playing, you lose the eyes that you did have on the sport. So I want them to be mindful of that. We're going to listen to what Austin Rivers had to say. Let's speak.
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. I wanted to make this video about Caitlin Clark real quick because I've seen a lot happen with her, a lot of jealousy, hateful comments come her way. Listen, I'm an NBA guy. Obviously, I cover the NBA as well. So I was going to just stay in my lane and just kind of fall back and let other people speak out on her behalf. For me, enough's enough with this. First and foremost, let's just get right into it. Let's be honest. Women's basketball as a whole, for the longest time, did not garner a lot of attention and the proper respect. For the longest time, the WNBA was synonymous for a lot of things. Not making a lot of money, actually losing money, to be completely honest. Their athletes not being compensated properly, their athletes not being treated properly, and as a whole, their sport and brand of basketball in terms of women playing basketball did not garner really proper attention. Nobody really cared or paid attention to it, which is a damn shame because you girls have been great. You have been world-class athletes. I grew up appreciating, I'm a hooper though, but I grew up watching the Beasts play in the WNBA. I grew up watching Diana Taurasi do her thing. And Sue Bird wow us for her savvy, and Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie go after it, and Maya Moore and Cheryl Swoops, and the list goes on. There's been greatness in the WNBA. You guys have been great women athletes. But for whatever reason, mainly due to ignorance, your sport has not garnered the proper attention and respect that it's long overdue. And now this woman comes along and brings the world in and is now giving y'all that proper attention and respect, and you guys are getting these brand deals and getting this money, and instead of being an appreciative and acknowledging that, you guys are like coming at her with these like hate ass comments talking about, oh well, it's not just because of her, blah 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 blah. Last night our game was sold out and she didn't play. Last night we flew charter and she wasn't on that flight. Let's stop it. It's not a coincidence you guys are just now chartering flights her rookie year. It's not a coincidence that now that she's in the WNBA, everyone's paying attention to the WNBA. I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot more people are. Okay, it's not a coincidence. It's the Caitlin Clark effect. Now, are there a lot of hands that can be raised of people who had a part to play? For sure. Angel Reese, Paige, Haley, Juju, the list goes on. There's women athletes, basketball players, and coaches who could raise their hand and say they had a part to play in the awareness that has grown in the game of women's basketball. But no more than Caitlin Clark. If you girls were Destiny's Child, she would be Beyonce. If all the girls in collegiate sports were a band and they were in sync, she would be Justin Timberlake. She was the main attraction. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. All right? And it's not because she's white. It's not because she's straight. Good God, no one cares. And it's not because she's pretty. Another thing I heard from some woman who knows nothing about basketball saying that. It's because she's an unbelievable basketball player and talent. It's because she has a game style that we've never really seen before. We were watching last year's games. I promise you, I was watching Iowa women's basketball, not because a woman out there that was playing was straight or white. It was because a woman was pulling up from half court looking like a Stephen Curry. She's like the Stephen Curry of women's basketball, and hopefully she can be that one day. She's got a lot to do and a lot of work cut out for her. But hey, we're going to cheer her along as the way. No one's saying Caitlin Clark is the greatest basketball player of ever. No one's saying Caitlin Clark is the greatest basketball player even right now in the WNBA. She's not even in that conversation yet. But she's a hell of a talent, and her game style, her aura, everything about her has brought people in and brought awareness to your sport to where now we get to see all these great players in your craft. You have the whole world tuning in now to your sport, seeing how great you girls really are, and I have always been. So instead of hating on her and cheap shotting her like I saw today in the game, which was BS, it was a non-basketball play, or sneak dissing her on your Snapchat or your TikTok or your Instagram or your post-game interviews, appreciate her. It's about that time. We need to grow up and move on. Pay respect.
I'm glad Austin Rivers said what he said. I know it's fans that want to make this thing a black and white thing. Everything Angel Reese does is right. Everything Caitlin Clark does is wrong, but it's not that. I can't get with that. Even though I'm black, I'm a black man. Um, I can't get with that being your reasoning, right? Caitlin Clark has brought eyes to the game. Angel Reese, um, has raised her profile as well. And I always say this in my videos. I think they're more alike as far as the vitriol that's coming both of their way. People are more subtle with Angel Reese because they don't want to lose their black fans and people supporting Angel Reese. But Caitlin Clark is an easier target, so it's easy for people to say. But we saw when one of the top players in the WNBA pulled Angel Reese down and had her holding the back of her head. Um, how they feel about her too. And I always say that because I want people to realize that her and Caitlyn aren't actually the threat to each other. I like it being competitive, and I like, uh, them being physical with each other. Even Angel Reese throwing a little bow during the game or throwing her down to the ground. That's right on par with the game. The hip check or shots that people don't see coming that's like that. I think they're a little more dangerous and shouldn't be in the game. Um, and these girls, I mean these women, they can't help but be a little bit jealous, right? Because Caitlin Clark making $28 million off the court over the course of the next few years. She may never dribble a basketball in Europe, unless she just love the game that much. Maybe they got something global, or maybe one of these rich owners overseas may throw her. Who knows what the bag will look like? Somebody may throw her an amount from Europe that she can't turn down, but that would be her only reasoning for going over there and playing in any of those countries because she's made enough in the States. And a lot of them know that they have this WNBA season, but then they have to go across that water to really make up that salary. So you got a lot of jealousy there. Same thing with Angel Reese. She's not gonna have to go play over there if she don't want to. Um, with the money she's earning right now, things she's doing off the floor. But I did see Angel Reese celebrating that cheap shot on Caitlyn, and that's where you can kind of see she is somewhat of a hater of Caitlin Clark. I know people want to make it something else, but she's done several things. Like she said, she ain't got no issues with Caitlyn after they lost, and she cried about guys are looking at my pictures certain kinds of ways, and I've been receiving threats and stuff after the game. But as soon as Caitlyn was playing South Carolina, she was complaining about the refs and all that stuff. And she was and I know she's cool with some of the South Carolina girls, but she was definitely complaining and rooting for a certain thing to happen to Caitlin Clark because she didn't win this year. She won last year, but didn't win this year. And the beautiful thing for Caitlyn today is she beat both of them. She beat Angel Reese and she beat Cardosa at the same time. Because now, even though the Fever are bad, the talent level is a little bit closer. These are still the best women's players in the world. even on their worst team. So now, yeah, we can get in a little bit closer game with both of y'all on the same team, on a much better team, and I could have a chance to win this game. But yeah, man, I know a lot of people gonna have a lot to say about Austin Rivers saying this, but I'm glad he said it. To be honest with you, do I agree with every point? I mean, he may not have been right on point with every point, but the main point stands. You know, as far as you cannot injure Caitlin Clark right now in the WNBA. WNBA cannot afford that for from a financial standpoint. You know, so let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down.